Welcome to Dai Headlines. I'm Li Wei-Tai. Thank you for joining us. In today's lineup, Tzu Chi's rice seeds in Myanmar are helping poor local farming families grow quality yields where excess rice is donated to those in greater need. Volunteers in Miaoli, Taiwan help one kidney patient in her 80s renovate her rundown home for a warmer winter. And we go to Egypt on an eco tour to a recycling community in Cairo that takes care of the city's waste with an impressive 85% recycling rate. To start the show in Northern California, USA, Tzu Chi volunteers welcomed the first day of 2011 by visiting a local homeless shelter. Hot vegetarian meals and winter supplies were prepared, including entertainment provided by students attending the local Tzu Chi Academy.
In the United States, the homeless in a shelter in Northern California sleep on a camping beds wearing thin jackets.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too.
On the first day of 2011, they receive a surprise visit from local Tzu Chi volunteers. Students attending the local Tzu Chi Academy also do their part to bring about holiday cheer. The cheers and applause are given. An audience member, Debbie, from watching the performance, remembers her daughter, who committed suicide 2 years ago.
In my heart, I missed my child. To come here to a homeless shelter and performed beautifully at young ages, that gives me hope.
The young performance accidentally helped Debbie cope with her loss.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The volunteers also prepare a hot vegetarian meal for their friends and hand out blankets and other supplies to help them stay warm this winter.
From the United States to Myanmar and Southeast Asia, last May, Tzu Chi began distributing rice seeds to 13 villages in the Tanling area near Yangon to help local farmers improve their yield. In Apyagon village, volunteers encountered King Tita Tun, a 38-year-old mother of 6 who had just lost her husband. The volunteers began providing rice to the family on a monthly basis. Now, King Tita Tun has grown enough rice not only for herself, but to give some back to Tzu Chi as well.
In Myanmar's Yangon region, Kindin Dadun is happy to see the visiting Tzu Chi volunteers. She had a good harvest this season in her rice field, thanks to the seeds the volunteers brought last May. Back then, the 38-year-old mother of 6 had just lost her husband and was lost without a direction.
Tzu Chi volunteers have taken my husband's place to care for us. When my husband was still around, he did not worry once whether we had enough to eat. But Master Dinyan worries about us and sends 1 bag of rice to us every month.
The volunteers not only deliver rice during the monthly visit, but also encouraged Kindin Dadun to stand up again. The single mom took everyone by surprise in just half a year. Not only does she now have enough rice for her family, she can even afford to buy cows and do charity work.
I took 13 bags of rice I grew from Tzu Chi seeds, sold them and bought 2 cows, which can help me work the fields next season. I saved enough rice seeds for planting and even some to donate to Tzu Chi.
Working hard in her rice field, Kindin Dadun is now laboring not only to support her family, but to help those less fortunate, giving her the strength to continue on.
81-year-old Yang Yu Yulan lives with her grandson in Holong of Miaoli, Taiwan, and needs dialysis treatment 3 times a week. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to fix the family's leaky roof and even help them clean the furniture too.
81-year-old Yang Yu Yulan lives beside the sea in the town of Holong in Miaoli, Taiwan. Her old wooden-built roof leaks every time it rains and troubles the senior resident.
When it rains, we can't sleep on the bed and need to use a bucket to fetch water. The 2 bedrooms are the same. Even the kitchen leaks too, and we can't sleep there.
Understanding the elderly woman's problem, over 30 volunteers arrived to give a helping hand. While Tzu Ji's sisters clean the furniture, the brothers tear off the old roof and replace it with steel frame.
Since the house is so dangerous to live in, we Tzu Ji people should do what we can to fix it up. This is our responsibility.
She was grateful that she doesn't have to clean up now for the Lunar New Year. Everything we rinsed is very clean. She is happy and told us she has enough to use.
Grandma Yang Yu needs to visit the dialysis center 3 times a week, but is always accompanied by her elementary school grandson. The little boy takes to heart of his father's reminders.
Dad wrote that if I come first in exams, there will be rewards. I need to take care of my grandma, brush my teeth and shower every day. Don't run around and be good. I do what Dad says.
Despite the cold weather, Tzu Ji volunteers work at a speedy pace to build a new roof, or hoping to create a safe and comfortable house for the family.
While volunteers in Miaoli helped renovate a home, their counterparts in Tanzi and the adjacent county of Taichung helped the care recipients move home. Ms. Li, who suffers from the rare condition of Behçet's disease, used to live on the 5th floor of an old residential block and needed to move due to her condition. Nearly 20 Tzu Ji volunteers mobilized to help get the job done.
Moving from a 5th floor apartment without an elevator is a challenge. Storage bins are brought down by 2 people, and small items can be passed along a human chain, but large furniture can be problematic. In central Taiwan, nearly 20 Tzu Ji volunteers gather in Tanzi to help care recipient Ms. Li move home. Ms. Li suffers from the rare Behçet's disease, which causes recurring inflammation in her gastrointestinal tract and is far too weak to handle the work on her own.
She lives on the 5th floor, but there is no elevator. She has had many abdominal surgery and she often cannot get back up after returning from the hospital.
We have been keeping her company to cheer her on, so she would not give up hope due to her condition.
Tzu Ji helps with Ms. Li's living expense and now the relocation of her home.
We are brought to tears by such a showing of compassion. With Tzu Ji aunties and uncles' help, we no longer feel that life is hopeless.
Tears of joy flow down the Li's faces, for Tzu Ji's love has helped them see the light.
On this day, the 10th of January, London became the world's first city to open an underground metro system in 1863. The Tube is the oldest and biggest metro system in Europe and today measures 408 kilometers and carries 976 million passengers a year. Also in London, the first General Assembly of the United Nations was held in the British capital on this day in 1946. All 51 founding nations took part in a discussion on the elimination of atomic weapons, which did little to stop the arms race. Because the Taiwanese capital of Taipei is in a basin, the government started monitoring groundwater changes to check for sinking on this day in 1970. When Fei Cui Reservoir was built in 1987, the subsidence problem improved. Today there are 729 monitoring wells in Taiwan. On this day in 1984, the first Chinese premier to visit the United States, Zhao Ziyang, met with the president at that time, Ronald Reagan, at the White House, in a series of talks on issues including US arms sales to Taiwan. The Tzu Ji chapter in Malacca, Malaysia, organized its 100th distribution of aid, this time to help 300 households enjoy Chinese New Year together. Up to 2010, a total of 122 relief missions have helped local poor people.
As we just heard, the Tzu Chi chapter in Malacca, Malaysia organizes a 100th distribution of aid on this day in 2007. One person who has been under the care of local volunteers for 11 years is 84-year-old Gan Yu-zhi. Before she came into contact with Tzu Chi, she was a solitary and ailing old woman, but Malacca volunteers' years of companionship has persuaded the senior to try recycling, donate to charity, and help her appreciate what she has.
Every month, the voice of elderly Gan Yu-zhi can be heard around her neighborhood.
For over 5 years, I've been saving up my cans for her. She washes them for me. I don't wash them.
She was very hardworking. She washes and dries my milk powder cans.
The 84-year-old woman is a Tzu Chi care recipient. For the past 9 years, she's been collecting recyclables around her community without complaint. Gan Yu-zhi knows the money from selling the recyclables goes to help the poor.
It's not a matter of being happy or unhappy. I do it for charity.
Tzu Chi volunteer Luo Meifang has been caring for Gan Yu-zhi for over 5 years. Because the elderly woman has high blood pressure and suffers dizzy spells, the volunteer brings her medicine and other essential items personally to her door.
She told me the traffic was heavy, so I told her I'd pick up what she needed for her, which made her very happy. After that, our relationship got better, and if she needs something, she'll always let me know so I can buy it for her.
Apart from making sure the grandmother has everything she needs, the volunteers remembered to give her something special on holidays. Although her memory is fading, Gan Yu-zhi never forgets to contribute to charity. She's been collecting coins for 8 years. In August last year, the senior told volunteers she would leave everything to Tzu Chi in her will, even donating the cost of an expensive coffin to charity. She may not have much today, but in her heart, Gan Yu-zhi is rich.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Eh, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be. 咁我就火葬咗咧，掉落海，掉落海就咩事都冇啦。空手嚟我就空手去，就阿彌陀佛。
Next, we have another story of a family on the receiving end of Tzu Chi's care. The mother, Xian Yingying, suffered a serious fall, which left her completely paralyzed. She wanted to end her life, but with the care of her family and companionship of Tzu Chi volunteers, she finally began to look at her life in a different light. At a recent year-end blessing ceremony in Malaysia, Xian Yingying told her story to the audience, moving many of her fellow care recipients to face up to their problems in a positive way.
For the last 3 years, Malaysian Tzu Chi care recipient Xian Yingying has never missed a year-end blessing ceremony because this is one of the only chances she has to get out of the house. For years, Xian Yingying has been paralyzed after a serious fall. She thought of ending her life, but with the encouragement of her family and Tzu Chi volunteers, she changed her mind.
It was a very difficult time for me after the fall. It was like my whole family got knocked down. It destroyed my daughter and my husband's future. So I wanted to end it all so he wouldn't have to carry the burden and I wouldn't have to suffer the pain. Then Tzu Chi volunteers came to check up on me and gave me hope and love.
With love and support around her, Xian Yingying slowly started to open up and her health began to improve. She can now sit up in a wheelchair and share her story.
I wasn't in such good spirits before. I couldn't sit up for long, but today I can walk and the tubes in my throat have all been removed and the hole in my throat has sealed up, so my spirits have picked up and I'm more outgoing and happier. In these last few years, the Tzu Chi volunteers have been at my side and taken me through the hard times, which has been a precious and loving page in my life.
Someone who is moved by Xian Yingying's testimony is fellow care recipient Xie Liming, who has been caring for her husband for 9 years since he suffered a serious head injury.
Today, when I saw this case, she has it worse than me. To see what she has been through motivated me. I wanted to give up on my husband, but she gave me belief and hope.
The care recipients say that life's road may be full of potholes, but with a little love and care, the way can be made smoother.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, the Jiachang Elementary School has integrated conservation into the curriculum by providing students with, for instance, power-generating exercise bikes that have youngsters lining up every recess just to have a go. And because it takes a good workout to produce just a little bit of energy, children have come to understand how precious natural resources are. Spinning away on the exercise bike, students at the Jiachang Elementary School in Kaohsiung are generating power by pedaling.
It's so comfortable exercising and enjoying some breeze at the same time.
We waste too much electricity, so it's great that this energy-efficient bike is invented.
However, the spinning bikes aren't the only eco-friendly inventions that have sparked interest in the students. There is also a hand-powered generator that moves the propeller on a small helicopter. On campus, there is also a little pond with a human-powered sprinkler.
The bike generator allows children to exercise and produce electricity at the same time. It helps them understand the importance of conservation. Kids love it, and they're always queuing up to have a go.
Jiachang Elementary also has many solar and hydropower devices that are both creative and educational, providing students with ample examples of renewable energy. The concept of cradle to cradle has become a mainstream conservation approach in the recent years. The idea is that regeneration, sustainability, and coexistence with nature should govern human lives. So today, in the final part of our special reports from Egypt, we go to a very unique slum in the capital Cairo, where the population of 16,000 relies on recycling the city's waste to make a living. Locals, also known as zabalin or garbage collectors, recycles 85% of the trash, a rate higher than other developing countries. In our last visit to Egypt, we went to a tour around the Zabalin community and also made a stop at the Al Azhar Park, the equivalent of Cairo's Central Park, which used to be a stinking landfill. The first call to prayer of the day wakes Egypt up to a fresh new morning. More than 90% of the population in Egypt are Muslim. However, on the outskirts of Cairo, there is a sprawling slum where residents are primarily Coptic Christians. This is the home of the Zabalin, or garbage collectors in Arabic. Residents of this neighborhood make a living off the city's daily mountain of waste. This is Egypt's first and biggest recycling community. As you can see behind me, many of the rooftops are crammed with garbage, like plastic bottles. Local residents have been collecting and sorting trash for more than 40 years. The Zabalin community has 16,000 residents. The old and young are almost all involved in collecting and sorting waste.
I mean, the beginning they were sorting and now they're recycling, and now we recycle around 85% of the garbage.
The Zabalin recycle 85% of the waste, which is about 25% higher than Taiwan's recycling rate. Every day, an average of 6,000 tons of rubbish from Cairo is sent here, keeping residents busy with the recycling work that is their primary means of livelihood. And this kind of lifestyle begins at a very young age. We're here at a very special school that not only teaches students Arabic and mathematics, but also recycling because it is a community-wide activity. It is here that children first learn the know-how of recycling. Lessons like these will help youngsters appreciate resources and care for the environment.
It was a study and I know everything here, and I love this school, and I want to learn. I want to learn him.
The young educator, who is very passionate about teaching, asked his top student to show the diary reporters how recycling is done at the school. 15-year-old Abraham puts on gloves and with practiced efficiency sifts through used shampoo bottles. It takes Abraham less than a second to tear off a sticker label. The 150 students here are all veteran recyclers. 100,000 bottles go through the school every month. On the walls of the classrooms are tables detailing how much recycling each child has done in the month. The proceeds from selling recyclables all go to the school fund. Here in the Zabaleen community, recycling is an indispensable part of everyone's life. Even shops sell products made from used items. All the cards and paper bags you see here are made from waste paper and fabric that have been recycled. This workshop employs only women from the local community, which helps improve their lives. In addition to paper and fabric, the raw materials for these novel cards and gifts include kitchen scraps, which have been creatively reused.
This color made by the onion skin. They cut it and they put it.
What other people normally throw into the rubbish bin gets a new lease of life in the hands of the Zabaleen. And the schools and gift shops aren't the only pride of this remarkably eco-friendly shantytown. It is also home to Cairo's bright green gem, the Al Azhar Park. This is Cairo's biggest and most beautiful park, the Al Azhar Park. You cannot tell that this was actually a pest-infested landfill 10 years ago. Where I stand, there's not a trace of bad smells.
They start first to clean the big sinks like the rocks and the cans and the trash which was in the top of the mountain, and then they start to put like sheets of soil, like many sheets to make like isolation between the trash underneath and between the plant itself.
What was a rubbish top is now a green space that has generated business opportunities for the poor locals. Thanks to Zabaleen, the densely populated city of Cairo retains its beauty as it continues to shine with historical grandeur next to the mystic River Nile. Finally today, students at the high school attached to the Tzu Chi University in Hualien, Taiwan recently made red wisdom and blessings envelopes for Tzu Chi's year-end blessing ceremonies that are currently taking place around the world. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching Dai Headlines. Goodbye.